Hi, what's up, people? It's your girl Aisha, aka Afro Millennial Mama. I hope everybody is doing well, having a good day. I'm out here in my backyard trying to enjoy my last few moments here. I wanted to talk on a serious subject. This is going to be the first of a series that I will probably be calling Mama Talk. I think we're going to see how that sticks. But I was talking to a friend and they suggested to me that I share my experience. I went through a really, really, really bad pregnancy, my first pregnancy, a few years back. And I didn't know pregnancy could be that rough, and I honestly didn't expect it to be, and it was a nightmare, to be honest. And it gave me kind of like a PTSD for a while. I want more children, but that's something that my experience is always in the back of my mind. And since we're planning to move, having more children is more financially would be more of a financial possibility. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm gonna tell you how my pregnancy experience was. Stay tuned. Okay, so here we go. In 2015, I found out I was pregnant. We were pregnant, I guess you could say, with our first child, with my daughter. And I was excited for about 2 weeks. And then the remaining 8 months was like death. Um, After about 4 months, I was diagnosed with a condition called Hyperemesis Gravidarum. And what that is when you become pregnant, because of the hormones in your body, the additional hormones, because of the baby's hormones and yours. Some people, basically, it's if I had to describe it in lay terms, it's like being allergic to pregnancy. That's what it feels like. Nausea in pregnancy is very common. Vomiting sometimes early in the pregnancy is very common, but not vomiting for 8 months straight every day. Um, and there are people who have it for 5 months, 4 months, and it can be really severe. They lose weight and then it goes away. And there's people that have the entire pregnancy, which was my case. However, not as extreme to the point that I had to be hospitalized. But basically, around 8 weeks of the pregnancy, I became very, very ill. And it wasn't, they say morning sickness is mostly in the morning, but this was all day. The only relief was sleeping. And then you wake up and you feel sick again. It's like, when you don't brush your teeth, maybe for a day, and that you have a taste in your mouth, or not even brush your teeth, when you are sick and you have a bad taste in your mouth and you need something like to kind of take that away. That's what I felt like 24/7. And so I felt sick. So I'm walking around with my face like this, basically. You have a bad taste in your mouth all day. Everything you eat, you vomit. And throwing up, I never knew how bad. I mean, I threw up as a child here and there, but I never knew how psychologically damaging throwing up could be. I was vomiting sometimes 12 times a day. There's people who have it worse than that. I think mine was not as severe to my health, but it was just so long, and not having relief every day was depressing, to the point I had to go to therapy. I believe I started therapy at maybe 6 months. There was other things going on that stressed me out, becoming a new mother and other things like that as well, that I was able to handle in therapy. But I was not happy to be pregnant, and every time I would try to go to work, I would get sick, have to leave. I missed weeks at a time. Um, and if it wasn't for my boss and his wife having the same condition, I don't know how understanding anybody else would have been. So they gave me my own office, isolated me from the rest of the staff so I wouldn't smell them, because any smell, I don't care if it's shampoo, coffee, people's deodorant, anything made me throw up. And I was in a bad mood for 8 months, and it took a toll on my marriage, because my husband had to take care of me and deal with the excitement of having a child, but then having a wife who was ill at the same time and not excited about it in the least. I think when I got to about the third month of the pregnancy, I was having thoughts of termination. I just wanted some relief. I remember thinking to myself, um, if this pregnancy doesn't stick, it's okay. I can get pregnant later. I just need to feel better. Um, I didn't really connect. Some people feel a bond with their child, while they're pregnant. And anytime I would feel a kick, I would get pissed off. I was mad that there was something in my body that I couldn't control that was making me sick. So I was afraid. I used to cry to my husband, like, what if I don't love my kid? What if this is not for me? Tons of thoughts, combined with the fact of being sick and being depressed. And every time I would throw up at work, I had to even throw up at my desk. I couldn't even make it to the restroom to throw up. But when I did, the ladies' room people would hear me, and they don't know who's in there. They're like, are you okay? And then once I come out and they say, oh, you're pregnant, congratulations. And I look like death. Like, I felt like dying the entire time. um you know I think the end of the pregnancy, it let up a little bit, and I wasn't throwing up as often, but it just depends. And there were times where I would throw up water, I would throw up ginger ale, I would throw up all the things that they say is safer to eat while you're pregnant. My body would reject. And it's just, I was eating Jello for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at one point for a whole month. And then one day I threw it up. And so it's like, okay, I can't eat that anymore. And it's just frustrating. You think you found a solution to your issue, and then it changes. And then you're able to drink water one day and then not the next day. And I threw up driving to work on myself. Like, it was really bad. The hardest part, I would have to say, is everybody being excited about a baby and telling you that it's almost over and you're 5 months, or it's just 9 months and you're 4 months. And it's like, I lost about 12 pounds the entire pregnancy, which wasn't really bad, but at the same time, when you're expected to gain a little bit of weight, um it was very, very disheartening. I was upset at God a little bit, just a little bit. And I was like, why me? Why is this happening to me? I didn't envision this for my pregnancy. I'm a healthy person. I exercise. I'm supposed to be jogging around and being superwoman and going to work and doing it all. But it really humbled me so much. And I learned that life can suck. Pregnancy can suck, and it's not all like, I was so upset at all these movies and TV shows where people find out they're pregnant, they throw up one time, oh my gosh, you're pregnant, and then that's it. And they throw up once and then it's over. And my doctor wasn't the most empathetic. She was knowledgeable about what I had and stuff, but she was just like, well, it's kind of like, this is what you asked for, and you feel bad because you did it to yourself. You intentionally impregnated, got pregnant, and this is one of the risks. Like, so what do that's it. And my doctor told me, well, you're one of the lucky ones. I guess you're just gonna have it for the rest of this was at 6 months, because she kept saying it's gonna go away next month, the month after, but and it never did. And that was hard too, hoping for something to end and it doesn't. That was hard to deal with, but in the end, I thank God, because I survived something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Honestly, I didn't have a lot of support. I didn't have a lot of help, or understanding from family and friends. And I think it was because it was just brushed off because I'm pregnant. Oh, she's pregnant. Like, she's not going to die. So, I think, and no one really understood what it felt like until I was able to put it into words. Like, I need help. Like, and, so I learned how to be more empathetic. I prayed that God would teach me whatever it was I was supposed to learn through this horrific experience. Some people compare it to the effects of chemotherapy, as far as like the vomiting, because the medication that they prescribed to you, which didn't help me, it's about the same effect of people going through, sometimes worse, going through chemotherapy, when they're throwing up and becoming sick and everything. And it was really a depressing feeling, like death experience. I wanted to sleep the entire pregnancy and not wake up until the baby was here. So there were some good days, but overall it was, and people not understanding, I guess, because they see someone pregnant that has it a lot easier, and they're like, well, it's all in your mind, or just be strong, and don't let it be a man telling you like to toughen up. Like, that's the worst. Like, you have no idea. But I was not myself. I was not evil. I was a mad, mean person. Everywhere I went, I had a scowl on my face, and I just never want to go back there again. I know I survived it, and my daughter is the best thing ever. Now when I see someone pregnant, I'm very, very, I make sure not just to tell them congratulations, but I ask them how they're doing, how they're feeling, and try to be that support system for them that I didn't have. Because I understand that pregnancy is not in any way easy. Just because people have kids since the beginning of time doesn't mean that it's not a rough thing to go through. I mean, I can imagine my ancestors being enslaved and working and dealing with something like this, like, unimaginable. But right when I had my baby and I went back to work, there was a co-worker of mine, this Armenian lady, and she was pregnant. And I asked her how she was doing, and she was like, and I said, how are you really doing? And she told me, and she wasn't doing the best. And I said, it's okay not to be happy about your situation. And she actually had hyperemesis, and I was able to be there for her, and in a way that, most people, if they don't know about it, they would never think of it. And I was able to support her through that, kind of from afar, and give her some information and things like that. So I turned it into something that I can use to help people. So now anyone who's sick, I have a deeper level of empathy and understanding of what people are going through. And hopefully I can warn anybody before they get pregnant, just to not have in your mind this perfect, fluffy, ideal movie-like type of experience. Just be prepared for anything, and brace yourself. There's people who do IVF and they try to have kids for 4 or 5 years and pay all this money, and then when they get this illness, regret doing all that. Like, it's that bad. So anyway, I hope you enjoy my little story time. And I'll be back with more Mama Talk videos. I'll let you know how my birth story went, which was another interesting story. So I'll probably come back with that in a little bit. And I hope you guys do well. Black people, all people, but my people, we the dopest, we the baddest, we the realest, we the strongest, we surviving. So we good. All right, I love y'all so much. Take care.